To discuss matters that have been covered in our media advisory. The Secretary General will react and speak briefly about the agenda of this meeting. SG?
Thank you very much, and compliments of the new year to all members of the media. We are meeting in this special meeting of the National Executive Committee, as we reported to you last year, when we're dealing with the matters that relate to Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, that the National Executive Committee will meet and the NWC will report to the National Executive Committee. We did report to you that we had an interaction in both provinces with the structures of the ANC in the branches in all the regions before and after the elections. And after our second visit, we interacted with the provincial executive committees in relation to our visit and shared our experience and the reports from the branches. And thereafter, we met once more with the PCs to discuss the reports. And we met here at Beechwood. At the end of that meeting, the NWC consolidated its report and considered three options in relation to the challenges we are facing in the provinces. The first option was to maintain the status quo, to do nothing about it in the provinces. The second option was the option of reinforcement and consolidating the structures in the province and reinforce them. And then the third option was to dissolve the structures and start afresh. We said that all of those options will be considered today by the NEC. And we explained to you as members of the media then that nobody is dissolved, as it was the key buzzword. And the dissolution is just but one of the options that will be considered. And we did explain to you that we were simply doing an overview of what has been considered. But in relation to what really obtains in these provinces in our analysis, meaning a perspective of what happened, will be shared with you after the discussions and the resolve of the National Executive Committee. So today we are here and we will give the report of the NWC and the options to the NEC to debate and take a decision. And tomorrow we will conclude those discussions. And immediately before we come to you, we'll report to the ANC structures in the two provinces about the decision of the NEC. And thereafter we'll convene a press conference where we'll give the details of the decision that had been taken. We know you've got very interesting sources in our meetings who sometimes distort what we say, but know this for a fact that the ANC will speak for itself and will not speak via sources up until the Secretary General engages with you. Whoever report to you will be second-guessing the decisions of the organization. So today we will meet, like I said, to specifically consider the matters in relation to the provinces. To us, KZN and Gauteng are very important provinces. And you know that as much as the ANC have shared votes in all the 9 provinces, but we have lost Gauteng. We have lost KwaZulu-Natal. In the KwaZulu-Natal, we registered 17%. And then in Gauteng, it is 35%. So it's not only a blame game, like all others would like to say, that what about the NEC and all of that. The National Executive Committee is exercising its mandate in relation to the Constitution. But over and above is exercising its mandate in terms of democratic centralism to determine what must be done to hasten the recovery of the ANC in these particular provinces. We're still going to visit all the other provinces. As you know that we're highly challenged and we have lost power in Western Cape and we're still struggling to come back. So we don't want what happened in the Western Cape must follow us in the 2 provinces. It is important that leadership take decision and give guidance to the structures. We have been told many things, that decisions are being considered for individual interests. That is gossip. You know for a fact that any leadership takes decision. You're not hamstrung because people are gossiping and are talking things that are untruthful and all of that. It is the considered view of the NEC that we've got to intervene in whatever form to strengthen the African National Congress in these particular provinces. All other matters that relate to issues of leadership and all of that, we have reported to you that they've been kept in abeyance, as much as in the WhatsApp groups, board people and all of that, discuss these matters in groups and all of that. But from the point of view of the organization, that discussion will happen at the right moment. At the present moment, all of us, despite everyone's interest, we must and we should be focused on the task at hand to ensure that the ANC regains the momentum and regains the support where we have lost, and work tirelessly to get out of the arrangements of coalitions, GNU and everything else in the local municipalities through the popular vote voted by the masses of our people in their numbers and making us a majority party. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take a few quick questions. Power.
Just a quick question, Mr. SG, a question of clarity. So the final decision will be taken on Sunday, and we will be updated on the fate of the two PECs. That's my only question.
You will be updated, and that moment of updating you about that decision will be communicated to you. The meeting starts now, and then it will end tomorrow, probably in the afternoon. And I think after we submit the report, everybody in the NEC would like to speak, especially about the way forward. And then thereafter we'll summarize the way forward in terms of what is the decision. And that will be communicated first to our structures in the two provinces, which we promised that this is the final leg, and we'll report to them about the decision of the NEC. So that is what exactly we are going to follow and what we are going to do. And thereafter we'll report to the media. But we would not like to report to the media before we report to the people who are affected, which are the structures of the ANC. But the media will be reported to about the decision, because the decision must be reported to the structures and be explained to the whole organization. The same as the process we have followed. We have taken the structures along. We went to the branches, we engaged with them, we met with the PECs, we engaged with them. We told them about our own analysis as the National Executive Committee. We told them about the options we are going to be considering, and that we will come back to them about the final decision on the three options we have explained to you. So what I'm talking to you now about the options is what we have explained to the PECs of the two provinces. So there's nothing that has been done without the knowledge of the structures of the ANC in the two affected provinces.
I'm going to go this side, Newsroom.
SG Junior Commando from Newsroom Africa. Just a point of clarity. In this meeting, I'm made to understand that it's not only discussions around the PECs of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. Is there a point in time where the top leadership itself is also going to give account to say this is the role that we played in this decline when it comes to the results that we got last year? And just lastly as well, you say that we don't want the repeat of what happened in the Western Cape to happen in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. Does this mean that the ANC has basically given up on the Western Cape? Thank you.
We have not given up, Junior, on the Western Cape. We will deal with the Western Cape. We have been to the Western Cape. We had our January 8, a very successful January 8 in Khayelitsha. Is part of the building blocks of consolidating our support in the Western Cape and working with our structures in the Western Cape to fight as an opposition. So what we explain about the Western Cape is that our fate seemed to be resigned to being a permanent opposition. We have put that aside and fighting to come back into power. And that is what we are about. The National Executive Committee have made an examination about the state of organization and at the same time what needs to be done. That is the role of the NEC. And in this particular instance, if the NEC identify weaknesses wherever they are, it cannot be hamstrung and be impaired from acting politically simply because the NEC itself was involved. The NEC have taken responsibility, and the NEC equally takes responsibility to consolidate the structures of the ANC, make them stronger, and at the same time intervene where there are weaknesses moving forward. And that is the fundamental issue when it comes to the role of the National Executive Committee in terms of its role as it is expected in the Constitution, in terms of the role that it has to play.
Come to the middle.
SG, there's a school of thought that if this was to be taken to some mass forum, say you are NGC, the outcome would be completely different. That it would be instead the NEC, the officials, and in particular the president, that may be taken to task possibly by the members. I'm sure you've already responded to it, but when is the ANC going to have an NGC?
We will announce that it will take place this year. We will announce the details after the full NEC meeting, where we will consider the annual report, and then which the SG is bound by the Constitution to present, and then we will agree on the program of action for the year based on the January 8 statement, and then we'll tell you exactly when is the date of the National General Council. ANC is a constitutional body. Anyone who wants to call for the NEC to step down, it is provided in the Constitution. They can do that. They can petition the NEC. It doesn't need the NGC to do that. And then branches can come together. And that has not happened. Any other thing suggested otherwise is mischief politically, and it will be taken as such.
ANC?
SG, Fulani Jones from ANC. You've emphasized that renewal is non-negotiable before the 30th of January, and that the leadership with gravitas is needed. Just how important is this meeting to pave a way forward for the preparations of the local government elections in 2026? How important is it that you take the correct decision here?
No, it has been important, the same as it was important to visit the two provinces after we have lost. That signifies the importance. That we are meeting now to consider what needs to be done is very important in terms of preparing the ANC to come back. We know that people are very anxious. Nobody wants to be entertained in relation as a leader in terms of disbandment. But nonetheless, these are things that organization considers. Sometimes decisions of this nature are taken with much gravitas of miscalculation, that they are taken to furtherance of particular agendas. But in this particular instance, that is why we have been organizational. We have taken the structures along, and then it has not just been a decision, a desktop decision, where you sit in the office and analyze a structure. It is an organic engagement with the structure. So, standing before you here, nobody in KwaZulu-Natal or Gauteng, in terms of ANC structures, will say, we are not knowledgeable about what the SG is talking about, we have not been engaged, we have not shared our opinion and everything else. Comrades know, our structures know, our membership know. So we are communicating to you a decision that has been undertaken organically in the organization. Thank you very much.
This is the last hand. Sorry, SABC had their hand
Just
up.
on another issue, SG, your reaction as the ANC on the Israeli Hamas agreeing to sign and implement the ceasefire, and could the ANC also touch on the recent developments in Stelfontein of Zambia? I mean, we know that's an interesting phenomenon. Efforts are made to address the issue, but the issue of abandoned mines remains, a thorn in government.
Illicit mining and abandoned mines is an ongoing issue. Government adopted a crime-fighting strategy that through a campaign called Valamkot. We regret the loss of life of people in those mines, and we caution our people not to embark on illegal means in terms of these zamazamas, and at the same time the government and the state must act against criminality. So in this particular instance, we regret the loss of life, but the rule of law and the rule of law must be respected in this particular regard. And then we welcome the ceasefire agreement, and it is important to us because ultimately the occupation of Palestine is something that will guarantee long-lasting peace in the Middle East, particularly between the Israeli and the Palestinians. So this is important in terms of our efforts to support and solidarize with the Palestinian people, and that struggle continues. And those who have undertaken the mayhem of perpetuating genocide must be brought to book. And that is why we went to the International Court of Justice as South Africa. And we stand here today once more in solidarity with the Palestinian people. May the developments of the ceasefire propel us to realize a long-lasting solution, which is the self-determination of the Palestinian people. We are among other nations that within the United Nations that are proponents of the two-state solution. And we are still for that, and we believe we will work with everybody to realize this vision.
There's a very last question. Yes.
There's a pressing matter about the Asilo matter of retrenchment. About 3,500 workers. The Minister of Labour was there, but it seems as though there isn't any direction. Just maybe your reaction on this 3,500 people on the possibility of being betrayed.
We want our government to work with everybody to avert the situation of the retrenchments, but over and above that, in the spirit of social dialogue, ArcelorMittal come to the party and work with everybody to avert this massacre, bloodbath of the loss of jobs, 3,500. As the African National Congress, we urge all the parties, in particular ArcelorMittal, to work for averting this bloodbath in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Lunch is served.
Siyabonga.